Welcome to Zoe Stories. Mom's little joke turned me into her daughter forever. I always thought of myself as a quiet boy. Not shy exactly, but someone who preferred to stay in the background unnoticed. At 19, I was still living at home, still figuring out who I wanted to be, and still struggling with the way my mom hovered over every part of my life. It was supposed to be harmless, just a joke. That's how it began. "Hold still," Mom said, her voice too cheerful, almost giddy. She had been cleaning out her closet that afternoon, pulling out old dresses, scarves, and shoes she hadn't worn in years. The living room floor was covered in piles of fabric. I had made the mistake of wandering in, yawning, scratching the back of my neck, asking, "Need help?" Her eyes lit up like she had been waiting for that exact question. "Yes," she said. "You can be my mannequin." Before I could argue, she was pressing a silky blouse into my hands. "Mom," I groaned. "Seriously? It's just for fun," she chirped. "Come on, what's the harm? No one's here but us." Her tone was playful, teasing, but her eyes, there was something sharp there, something almost testing. 10 minutes later, I was standing in front of the mirror, my arms folded over my chest, drowning in one of her old dresses. It was pink, soft, too tight around my shoulders but loose everywhere else. Mom clapped her hands. "Oh my God, you actually look adorable." I turned red instantly. This is humiliating. I look ridiculous. But she was circling me like a fashion critic, tugging at the hem, smoothing the fabric, tilting her head. "Ridiculous? No, you're pretty. Prettier than I expected." The word pretty landed like a stone in my stomach. "Smile." "What?" "No, don't." The flash went off before I could move. She had snapped a photo on her phone, giggling. "Mom." I lunged for it, but she hid the phone behind her back like a mischievous child. "It's just for me. Don't be so dramatic." My heart pounded. She had a photo. Me. In a dress. I told myself it was harmless, that she was joking. That's all it was. But even as I pulled the dress off and tried to return to my room, I felt her eyes following me, studying me, almost like she had discovered something she didn't want to let go of. That night at dinner, she kept smiling at me. Too much. "So," she asked casually, "what would you do if people actually thought you were a girl?" I choked on my food. "Why would you even ask that?" She shrugged, almost innocent. "I don't know. Just curious. You pulled it off better than I expected. With a little makeup, some shoes, no one would even." "Stop." I cut her off, my cheeks burning. She only smirked. Like the joke wasn't over. Like it had just begun. When I went to bed that night, I thought I'd forget about it in the morning. But as I pulled the blanket over myself, I heard the faint sound of her laughter downstairs. And then a notification sound. A message sent. The horrible thought hit me. She didn't really send that picture to someone, did she? My stomach twisted. That was the night her little joke started to feel less like fun and more like a trap. The next day should have been normal. Saturday mornings in our house usually meant coffee, laundry, and Mom humming to herself while she cleaned. But when I walked into the kitchen, she was already waiting at the table with her phone in hand. She smiled too quickly when she saw me. "Morning, sweetheart." My eyes flicked to her phone. I still hadn't shaken the fear that she had sent the photo somewhere. "Morning," I muttered, grabbing a bowl for cereal. "You seemed a little tense last night." Her voice was smooth, playful. "Still embarrassed about our little fashion show?" I froze, the spoon halfway to my mouth. "You mean your joke?" "Yeah, kind of." Her lips curved. "Joke, right? But it wasn't just a joke, was it? You saw how good you looked." I nearly choked. "Good? Mom, I looked ridiculous." But she leaned across the table, eyes locking on mine. Her smile was softer now, almost maternal. "No, you didn't. That's the problem. You looked right." A chill ran down my spine. I laughed nervously. "Okay, sure. Hilarious. Can we drop it now?" But she shook her head slowly. "No, darling. I don't think we should drop it." In fact, she tapped her phone and spun it toward me. My stomach lurched. On the screen was the photo from last night, Me in her pink dress, staring awkwardly at the mirror. "Delete it," I snapped. Her voice turned sharp. "Don't talk to me like that." Then, softer, with that same unnerving smile. "Besides, why would I delete something so precious?" I reached for the phone, but she pulled it back. "Relax. It's safe with me." But it gave me an idea. I narrowed my eyes. "What idea?" Her tone was almost casual, like she was discussing weekend plans. "I want you to be my daughter."
Just for a weekend.
"Humor me." My bowl clattered against the counter. "You're joking." She sipped her coffee calmly. "No, I'm not. Think about it. You stay home too much, you don't go out, you never smile anymore. I think this will be good for you. A little role play. You'll wear the clothes, I'll teach you how to walk, talk, and we'll go out together. Just for fun." My skin prickled. "That's insane. I'm not doing that." Her eyes narrowed. "Oh, really?" She tilted her phone toward me again, thumb hovering over the screen. "What if I sent this picture to your friends? Your cousins? Imagine their faces." Blood drained from mine. "You wouldn't." Her smile was cold. "Try me." My chest was heaving.
Why?
"Why are you doing this?" "Because," she said simply, "I want a daughter. I've wanted one for years."
But I only got you.
"So, why not? You fit better than you think." I shook my head violently. "You're insane. This isn't normal." She shrugged. "Normal is boring. Besides, it's only a weekend. Unless," her eyes glittered, "unless you enjoy it." I wanted to scream, but the words stuck in my throat. For the rest of the day, she kept circling the idea. Every time I tried to retreat to my room, she knocked on my door with some excuse. "Come down. I found the perfect skirt that would actually fit you. I bet with a little eyeliner, you'd be stunning." "Sweetheart, I know you're scared, but I promise no one will laugh at you." By evening, I was raw, frayed, exhausted from resisting. She seemed to sense it. As I sat at my desk, she slipped into my room without knocking. She placed a neatly folded outfit on my bed, a soft floral sundress, pale stockings, and a bra. "Tomorrow," she said gently, almost tender. "Tomorrow you'll be my daughter. Just for one weekend. Say yes, and I'll never show that picture to anyone. Refuse." Her fingers brushed her phone.
My throat went dry.
I lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling, heart racing. This is insane. I'm not doing it. I can't. But the image of that photo haunted me. If she really sent it to my friends, my cousins, my classmates, I'd never live it down. By morning, when she appeared in my doorway with a bright smile and a cup of tea, I was too tired to fight anymore. "Good morning, princess," she said. I wanted to yell at her,
To tell her to stop.
but the words stuck in my throat, heavy as lead. Instead, I whispered,
Fine.
"Just for the weekend." Her smile widened, triumphant. "That's my girl." And just like that, the trap snapped shut. As she left my room, humming to herself, I glanced at the outfit waiting on my bed. The sundress looked harmless, almost innocent. But deep down, I knew putting it on would change everything. And for the first time in my life, I was truly afraid of my own mother. The sundress felt like a trap laid out in fabric. I sat on the edge of my bed staring at it, every muscle in my body tense. Mom knocked once before walking in, carrying a makeup bag and a pair of nude heels. She looked at me like a painter appraising an empty canvas. "Still not dressed," she said lightly, though her tone carried an edge. "I said I'd do it," I muttered. "Just give me a minute." Her lips curved into that patient, dangerous smile. "Of course. But don't forget, we're going out today. I want to introduce my daughter to the world." The words hit like a punch to the gut. An hour later, I was standing in front of my bedroom mirror. The sundress clung to me in a way I wasn't prepared for. Too soft, too light, brushing against my legs like whispers. The stockings hugged my thighs. The bra felt like a constant reminder of the lie pressed against my chest. Mom had worked on my face with frightening skill. Foundation, eyeliner, blush, lipstick, each stroke erasing me and painting someone else. When she finished, she pulled my hair forward, curling it around my cheeks. "Look," she whispered, spinning me toward the mirror. My stomach flipped. The boy I knew was gone. In his place was a fragile, uncertain girl with wide eyes and trembling lips. I wanted to look away, but I couldn't. Where are we going? I asked nervously as she grabbed her purse. The mall, she said cheerfully. What better place to test my daughter? I froze.
No.
Absolutely not. She tilted her phone. My photo glared back at me, her silent weapon. My throat tightened. You're insane, I whispered. Maybe, she said, looping her arm through mine. But you're beautiful. Every step in those heels was torture. My legs wobbled, my knees shook. The sound of the click-clack echoed like gunfire in my ears. People passed us, some glanced briefly, some smiled politely, some didn't notice at all. That was the worst part. They didn't see through me. At one boutique, Mom shoved a handful of dresses into my arms. Go try them on. I'll wait. Inside the fitting room, I stared at myself in another mirror, drowning in fabric. My chest heaved. What am I doing? Why am I letting this happen? But when I stepped out, the saleswoman clapped her hands. Oh, honey, you look precious. My knees nearly buckled. She thought I was real. Later, as we passed a shoe store, a young guy, maybe my age, looked right at me. He smiled. Not mocking. Not suspicious. Just interested. Heat flushed my cheeks. I looked away instantly, but Mom caught the moment. Her hand squeezed mine. See, she whispered. They believe it. They believe you. By the time we left the mall, my head was spinning. Bags of clothes dangled from Mom's arm. I clutched mine tightly, terrified someone would rip the mask away, shout at me, expose me. But it never happened. Instead, strangers had smiled,
Complimented.
treated me as though I belonged. That night, alone in my room, I tore the sundress off and threw it in the corner. My hands shook as I stared into the mirror. For a split second, I missed the reflection I had seen at the mall. The girl with shy eyes. The one who had been called pretty. And that scared me more than anything else. My phone buzzed. It was a message. From Mom. Just 2 words. Tomorrow again. I stared at the screen, my pulse hammering, realizing this wasn't just a weekend joke anymore. This was only the beginning. The sunlight filtered weakly through my curtains, but it wasn't the warmth that woke me. It was the dread. Mom's message from the night before still sat on my phone. Tomorrow again. I lay in bed staring at it, every part of me wanting to delete it, ignore it, rebel. But I knew better. One slip, and my secrets were hers to scatter. A knock came. The door opened before I could answer. Mom stepped in with that same bright, terrifying cheer. Rise and shine, sweetheart. We've got a busy day. My stomach churned. What now? Her eyes gleamed. Lingerie shopping. My jaw dropped.
No.
Absolutely not. She leaned against the doorframe, casual, but her phone glinted in her hand. Then maybe your little online activities find their way to a few inboxes. My breath hitched. She didn't even have to say more. She had me cornered, wrapped around her finger. Fine, I spat, my voice cracking. But this is insane. Her smile softened, like she was genuinely proud. It's not insane, darling. It's shaping who you're meant to be. The words felt like acid in my ears. The little boutique smelled of perfume and fabric softener. Lace and satin gleamed from every rack, delicate and haunting. The saleswoman, a middle-aged lady with kind eyes, greeted us warmly. Looking for something special? Mom's hand rested on my shoulder.
Yes.
My daughter needs a proper foundation for her new wardrobe.
Daughter.
She said it so easily, so convincingly. My throat went dry. The saleswoman nodded without question, pulling sets of bras and panties from the racks. Silky fabrics, bows, pastel shades. My face burned hot enough to melt. Go try these on, Mom ordered, pressing a bundle into my arms. The tiny cubicle felt like a coffin. I stripped out of my clothes, standing in nothing but trembling nerves. The bra clasp fumbled in my hands until I finally hooked it. The cups hugged my chest awkwardly, soft padding shaping me into something uncomfortably believable. The matching panties were worse, a cruel, snug whisper of lace. When I turned toward the mirror, I almost didn't breathe. The reflection was humiliating.
Wrong.
But also unnervingly complete. Let's see. Mom's voice called from outside. No. I snapped. The curtain whipped open anyway. She stepped in, her eyes drinking in the sight of me. Her smile was triumphant. Perfect. The saleswoman poked her head in, and my world nearly collapsed. Oh, honey, that color is you. Tears stung my eyes as I mumbled, thanks, I didn't mean. That afternoon, Mom spread brushes, palettes, and tubes across the dining table like a general preparing for battle. Sit. I already let you do this yesterday. I protested weakly. Yesterday, I painted you. Today, you'll learn. She guided my hand, teaching me how to sweep blush across my cheeks, how to steady eyeliner, how to blend lipstick without smudging. Each mistake brought a sharp correction, each success a pleased hum that twisted in my gut. By the end, my own hands had painted a stranger's face. See, Mom whispered, tilting the mirror. You're learning who you are. That night, I locked my bedroom door and peeled off the lingerie, shoving it deep into a drawer as though burying evidence. But when I lay in bed, sleep wouldn't come. The memory of the saleswoman's words echoed. That color is you. I hated how part of me replayed it like a drug. I hated how a tiny part of me agreed. At breakfast, Mom dropped her next bomb like it was casual news. Tomorrow, we'll visit the salon. You need your hair done properly. I nearly choked on my toast. You can't be serious. Her smile widened. Oh, I've never been more serious. A daughter should have hair to match her beauty. I slammed my mug down. You can't keep doing this to me. Her hand slid across the table, her phone once again poised like a guillotine. I can, and I will, unless you'd prefer your secrets go public. My chest tightened, my breath ragged. I had no answer. That night, staring at my reflection, I whispered to myself, how much further can this go? But deep down, I already knew the answer. Mom wasn't stopping. She was only beginning. I woke up with a pit in my stomach. The word salon had been echoing in my head since last night. Unlike the privacy of our house or even the small lingerie boutique, this would be full exposure. Bright lights, gossiping women, mirrors everywhere, strangers watching me. I tried to stall. I lingered in bed. I ate breakfast slowly. I even claimed I felt sick. But Mom was relentless. She stood at my bedroom door, handbag slung over her shoulder, lips painted scarlet. Up.
Now.
Don't make me remind you what happens if you refuse. The sharp reminder of her phone, and the secrets it held, forced me onto shaky feet. The salon door chimed as we stepped inside. A wave of floral-scented air and the hum of blow dryers hit me instantly. Every chair was filled with women, chatting, laughing, flipping through magazines. For them, this was normal. For me, it felt like stepping into another world. Mom's arm curled around my shoulders possessively. This is my daughter's first big makeover, she announced proudly to the receptionist.
Daughter.
The word pierced me again. The receptionist's eyes scanned me up and down, and instead of doubt, I saw only a bright smile. She's adorable. We'll take good care of her. Adorable. My stomach twisted. I was led to a wide chair, surrounded by mirrors that reflected me from every angle. Nowhere to hide. The stylist, a glamorous woman with sharp eyes and long nails, approached. So, what are we thinking today? Mom answered before I could breathe. Something feminine. Shoulder-length layers, maybe a soft wave. Something that frames her face beautifully. Her face. Not his. Not my. The stylist nodded, fingers sliding through my hair. She has great texture. This will be fun.
She.
Again. I sat frozen, unable to correct anyone, my heart pounding so hard it shook my ribcage. The scissors whispered through my hair, each snip a little piece of my old self falling away. Strands littered the floor like shed skin. My reflection shifted with every cut, angles softening, edges vanishing. Mom watched with quiet satisfaction, her smile fixed like a sculptor admiring progress. "You'll thank me for this one day," she murmured. I wanted to scream, but my throat locked. The stylist's tools moved with rhythm. The tug of a comb, the hiss of a blow dryer, the curling of hot irons. Slowly, my hair transformed into soft, flowing waves that brushed against my cheekbones. When she pinned the last curl and spun my chair toward the mirror, I barely recognized myself. A girl stared back. Pretty, delicate, with wide, uncertain eyes framed by shimmering locks. My lips parted, but no sound came. Mom clapped her hands softly. "Perfect, my little princess." The word princess made me flinch, yet the reflection made my chest ache with something dangerously close to pride. I thought it was over, but Mom wasn't finished. "Now for her nails." I stammered. "No, I don't need." But I was already ushered to another station. Bottles of polish lined the counter like soldiers, pinks, reds, shimmering silvers. The nail technician smiled warmly. "What color today?" Mom answered instantly. "A soft pink. Subtle, but elegant." The brush stroked across my nails, coating them in glossy femininity. Watching my own hands disappear beneath the polish was surreal. My hands looked smaller, softer, not mine. When the UV lamp clicked off, the transformation was complete. My nails gleamed. Mom leaned close, whispering in my ear, "Look at them. Even your hands belong to my daughter now." When we left the salon, the real test began. Every step outside felt like fire on my skin. The world seemed brighter, sharper, every passerby a potential judge. And yet, no one laughed. No one pointed. No one saw a boy pretending. They saw a girl. A woman walking past smiled at me kindly. "Pretty hair." The words sent a jolt through me. For the first time, I couldn't tell if my pounding chest was from fear or from something else. That night, the mask cracked. I locked myself in the bathroom, staring at the girl in the mirror. The curls, the nails, the soft face. Tears blurred the reflection. "That's not me," I whispered. "That's not me." But no matter how many times I repeated it, the reflection didn't change. I gripped the sink until my knuckles went white, pink nails glinting mockingly under the light. From outside, Mom's voice floated through the door. "You'll get used to it, sweetheart. You'll love it eventually." Her certainty chilled me to the bone. I slid down onto the cold tiles, sobbing quietly. The scariest part wasn't that everyone believed I was a girl. It was that I was starting to believe it too. The morning light poured through my curtains, but instead of comfort, it carried dread. I'd barely slept after last night's breakdown. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the girl in the mirror. Me. Yet not me. I prayed Mom would let me stay home, hide in my room until the world forgot me. But fate wasn't that kind. She burst in without knocking, already dressed for the day, a floral blouse, slim jeans, heels clicking like a metronome of authority. Draped over her arm was a dress, pastel, frilly, mocking. "Up," she chirped. "We're going shopping."
Shopping.
The word hit me like a punch. Not clothes at home, not just her games. Outside. I shook my head desperately.
"No."
"Mom, please, not in public. Everyone will know." Her smile sharpened. "That's the point. A daughter doesn't hide." The dress she'd chosen was light blue, with a bow at the waist. Too short, too girly, too meant to humiliate. I tried to resist. She reminded me with a single glance toward her phone. Secrets.
Trapped.
As she zipped me up, I felt my old self being locked away too. Stockings, ballet flats, a touch of lip gloss. She had me polished like a doll. When she stepped back to admire her work, her eyes gleamed. "Perfect. No one will ever doubt what you are now." I wanted to argue, to scream. But when I caught sight of the mirror, I froze. The dress clung to me in ways that betrayed no boy beneath. My soft hair framed my face, my pink nails glimmered. I looked like a girl ready for an outing with her mom. The mall was alive, buzzing voices, footsteps echoing, laughter bouncing off tiled floors. Every sound scraped my nerves raw. Every passing stranger felt like a spotlight. I clung to Mom's side, head bowed, praying no one would look too closely. But they did look. And they smiled. "Cute outfit," a young woman remarked as she passed. "She looks just like you," an older lady told Mom. Each comment stabbed me with humiliation, but also twisted deeper with something else, the terrifying warmth of acceptance. No one saw a fraud. No one saw a boy in a dress. They saw her daughter. Mom led me straight into a clothing boutique, racks of dresses, skirts, blouses. I froze at the threshold. The sales clerk, a tall woman with sharp eyeliner, looked me over. Her smile widened. "What a pretty girl. First time shopping here?"
Pretty.
Again. Mom answered smoothly. "Yes. She's finding her style." Before I could protest, I was swept into a storm of fabrics, lace blouses, pencil skirts, pastel sweaters. They pulled outfits from the racks, held them against me, turned me toward the mirror. The saleswoman clasped her hands. "Oh, she has such a figure. This will look darling." I burned from the inside out. My voice caught in my throat, every word swallowed by the sheer weight of being treated like something I wasn't. The fitting room became my prison. Piles of clothes surrounded me, and Mom's voice outside the door barked instructions. "Try it on. All of them." I obeyed, each new outfit eroding another layer of denial. A skirt swished against my thighs. A blouse hugged my chest. A pair of tights clung to my legs like a second skin. When I stepped out, Mom's approving gaze and the saleswoman's cheerful compliments drowned me. "You're glowing," Mom whispered, satisfaction dripping from every syllable.
Glowing?
I felt like I was disappearing. As I stood before the mirror in a pale pink dress, two teenage girls nearby giggled. My stomach sank. They see through me. But then one said, "I love that dress on her. She's so pretty." Her friend nodded eagerly. "Wish I had her legs." My breath caught. My heart twisted painfully.
They weren't mocking me.
They envied me. For a fleeting second, I felt something dangerous. Pride. Mom noticed the flicker of emotion on my face, the tiniest crack in my armor. She leaned down, whispering like a serpent.
"See?
You fit, sweetheart. The world already accepts you. It's only you who's still fighting." I wanted to scream that it wasn't true. That inside, I was still me, still her son. But the reflection staring back at me, the smiling saleswoman, the admiring girls, Mom's triumphant gaze, made the words die in my throat. As we left the boutique, shopping bags weighing down my arms, I realized something terrifying. The world outside no longer saw a boy. And maybe, just maybe, I was starting to forget him too. The week after the mall trip, I walked differently. Not by choice. My body simply moved in ways it never had before. My skirt swayed. My shoes clicked. My arms folded delicately without thinking. It scared me more than anything. I caught myself in mirrors, recognizing the girl everyone else saw, and flinching. Because if I started to believe it, what would be left of me? Mom noticed.
Of course she did.
She didn't comment, didn't gloat openly. She just watched, quietly satisfied, as if she knew the battle was already over. But she wasn't done testing me. One afternoon, she insisted we grab coffee at a cafe downtown. I tried to decline, but her look silenced me. We sat by the window, sunlight pouring across the table. I kept my head down, sipping nervously, trying not to be noticed. Then I heard it. A voice I hadn't heard in months. Familiar. Anchored in my old life. "Hey, wait, Alex." My stomach turned to stone. I looked up and there he was, Ryan, my best friend from high school. Ryan froze mid-step, eyes darting across my face. I almost didn't recognize you." I stammered, throat tight. Ryan, I." But Mom's hand pressed lightly on mine under the table. A warning. She leaned in sweetly, smiling at him. "Oh, you must be one of her old friends. Isn't she just blooming now?" Her. Blooming. Ryan's brow furrowed.
"Wait."
Her. He looked back at me, eyes widening. Alex, what's going on? My tongue felt heavy. I couldn't answer.
Couldn't breathe.
Mom smoothly interjected. She's going by Alexa now. A fresh start. Doesn't she look wonderful? Ryan's face was a storm of confusion. He laughed nervously. This is a joke, right? Dude, tell me she's messing with me. The cafe suddenly felt suffocating. Every pair of eyes seemed to turn toward us. My heart pounded like a drum in my ears. I whispered, "Please don't," but I didn't even know if I was begging Ryan or myself. Ryan's voice dropped lower, almost pained. "Alex, man, what happened to you?" Before I could gather words, Mom leaned back casually, sipping her coffee. "Nothing happened. She's just finally becoming who she was meant to be. Isn't it obvious?" Ryan stared at me, searching for the boy he remembered. I wanted to shout that I was still him, that I hadn't vanished. But the reflection in the cafe window beside me betrayed me. Long hair, delicate blouse, glossed lips trembling. Not Alex. Alexa. I don't understand, Ryan muttered, stepping back as if distance would clear the picture. Tears burned in my eyes. My voice cracked. I don't either. Mom's hand slid across mine again, squeezing firmly, possession disguised as comfort. Ryan shook his head. This isn't you. Not the guy I knew. He lingered one last moment, his expression torn between pity and disbelief, before walking away. Each step of his retreat felt like another nail in the coffin of my old life. The silence he left behind was unbearable. Mom finally broke it, her voice soft but edged with triumph.
See?
Even he couldn't recognize you anymore. That's how perfect you've become. Her words should have been comforting, but they hollowed me out. Because she was right. Ryan hadn't seen Alex. And for a terrifying second, neither did I. That night, alone in my room, I whispered my name to the mirror. Alex. But the girl staring back didn't answer. I thought them all, the cafe, even Ryan's shocked face, were the worst I'd endure. I was wrong. Mom waited until dinner to spring her newest scheme. She placed her fork down delicately, eyes glittering across the table. There's a local beauty pageant coming up, she said casually, as if discussing the weather. I've entered you. The fork slipped from my hand, clattering against the plate. What? No, absolutely not.
Her smile was calm, too calm.
Oh, come now. It'll be fun. Just a little community event. My heart thrashed. Mom, this has gone too far. I'm not a... Her eyes narrowed, slicing through my protest. Not a what? Because from where I'm sitting, you're the perfect candidate. I tried every excuse, school, embarrassment, humiliation. But Mom countered each one with terrifying ease. It'll boost your confidence. You'll look beautiful on stage. It'll show everyone what I already know, that you're my daughter. Each reason tightened the noose. Finally, she delivered the killing blow. Or I can always share those little secrets of yours. I froze. My protests died in my throat. The deal was sealed. The week leading up to the pageant was brutal. Mom became a drill sergeant of femininity. Every evening after school, I was subjected to pageant practice. Walking lessons, balancing books on my head. Smiling without faltering, even when my stomach nodded. Speaking softly, every sentence rehearsed until my voice betrayed no trace of boyhood. Wardrobe fittings, gowns that shimmered, heels that ached, makeup sessions that painted me into a doll. Each practice left me humiliated, but also disturbingly polished. The mirror no longer showed hesitation. It showed her. The auditorium buzzed with chatter, families filling rows of seats. Bright lights illuminated the stage, banners fluttering with pastel lettering. Spring Princess Pageant. I stood backstage, drowning in satin and sequins, my gowns sparkling under the fluorescent lights. My palms sweated against the bouquet I'd been forced to hold. Mom stood nearby, her eyes gleaming with satisfaction. Remember, sweetheart, grace in every step. And smile. Always smile. I nodded weakly, my stomach a nest of nerves. The moment I stepped onto the stage, the spotlight blinded me. Gasps rippled through the audience, followed by applause. They weren't laughing. They were cheering. The host's voice boomed. "Our next contestant, Alexa." Alexa. The name rang like a bell, sealing my disguise before the entire town. As I curtsied awkwardly, something horrifying happened. I heard genuine admiration from the crowd. "She's beautiful. Look at that dress. Such poise." Each word twisted me deeper into the trap. When it came to the talent section, Mom had insisted I sing. My throat tightened with terror, but the music started before I could resist. And somehow, I sang. The notes trembled, cracked, but flowed. By the end, the applause erupted like a wave. My face burned, my chest heaved, but for one terrifying instant, I felt alive. Like I belonged there. The final moment arrived. Contestants lined the stage, waiting for the results. And the winner of this year's Spring Princess pageant is... Time slowed. My breath caught. Alexa. The crown glittered as they placed it on my head. Flowers pressed into my arms. The audience roared. Mom's smile from the wings was radiant, victorious. And me? I stood frozen, tiara digging into my scalp, the weight of applause crushing me. Backstage, I ripped the crown off, tears blurring my vision. "Why are you doing this to me?" I demanded, voice cracking. Mom stepped close, cupping my face in her hands. Her voice was both soothing and merciless. "Because, darling, this is who you are now. And the world agrees." I stared at the crown in my trembling hands. For the first time, I couldn't tell if it felt like a curse or a destiny. The party was a blur of lights, perfume, and music. I had expected stares, whispers, maybe even cruel laughter when Mom pushed me into the world dressed as her daughter. Instead, I found myself swept into something far more dangerous: acceptance. Girls I had barely spoken to in school were pulling me into selfies. Compliments floated around me like confetti. "Your hair is gorgeous. Where did you get that dress? You're glowing tonight." Each word felt like both a blade and a bomb. A part of me wanted to scream, "I'm not her. I'm not this." But another part, the part buried deep and growing hungrier by the hour, was drinking it in, dizzy with the sweetness of belonging. Then there was him. Daniel. He wasn't supposed to be there. He was one of the popular guys, the kind who never noticed me when I was just Michael. Yet tonight, in this glittering chaos, his eyes found me. And they didn't leave. He approached slowly, drink in hand, moving with the confidence of someone who knew exactly what effect he had on people. I wanted to look away, to hide, but I couldn't. My heels anchored me to the spot, my pulse betraying me. "Hey," he said softly, as though the noise of the party melted around us. "I don't think we've met before." For a second, panic surged through me. This is it. He's going to know. He's going to see through all of this. But Daniel just smiled, his gaze trailing from my eyes to my lips and back again. "You're different. Beautiful. Beautiful." The word struck harder than any insult ever could. I should have rejected it, should have laughed it off, should have remembered who I really was. Instead, heat spread across my face, and my lips formed a trembling. "Thank you." We ended up outside, on the patio under fairy lights strung along the railing. My heart thudded with every step, each click of my heels reminding me of the prison I was trapped in. And yet, next to him, it didn't feel like a prison. "You seem nervous," Daniel said, leaning casually against the railing, his smile both teasing and gentle. I swallowed. "I'm not used to this." He tilted his head. "Used to what?" I didn't answer, because how could I? Used to being a lie? Used to being paraded as something I wasn't supposed to be? Used to wanting the very thing I feared? Daniel stepped closer, his scent, cologne and something warmer, human, wrapping around me. He brushed a loose strand of hair from my cheek, and my knees nearly gave out. "You don't have to explain," he murmured. "I like mystery." And before I could stop it, before I could remind myself of all the reasons this was wrong, his lips pressed against mine. The kiss was fire and ice, terror and bliss. Every nerve in my body screamed at me to pull away, to remember I was Michael, not the girl everyone thought I was. But the part of me that had been silenced for weeks, the part craving affection and validation, melted into him. When it ended, I stumbled back, breathless. My reflection in the patio glass stared at me, a girl in a dress, makeup flawless, lips swollen from a kiss. For the first time, I wasn't sure which truth was more dangerous, the one I had been born into, or the one I was becoming. Inside, I knew Mom was watching. She always was. And if I knew her at all, she wasn't just amused. She was planning. I walked back inside, lips still tingling from Daniel's kiss, heart pounding so hard I thought the whole house could hear it. I told myself it didn't matter, that it was just the heat of the party, just a mistake. But deep down, I knew the truth. A part of me hadn't wanted it to end. And then I saw her. Mom was sitting on the sofa, legs crossed elegantly, a glass of wine in hand. Her smile was calm, controlled, the kind of smile that never revealed whether she was proud or plotting. Her eyes met mine across the crowded room, and my blood ran cold. She waited until we were home. The silence in the car was unbearable. I could still feel Daniel's eyes on me, could still hear his voice calling me beautiful. My thoughts tangled, half guilt, half longing. I dared not look at Mom. When we pulled into the driveway, she finally spoke. So. The single word was heavy, sharp. I swallowed. So what? Her smile returned, slow, deliberate, dangerous. So, my little girl got her first kiss tonight. My face burned. It didn't mean anything. Oh, but it did. She leaned closer, her perfume suffocating. I saw the way you melted. You weren't pretending, Michael. Or should I say, Michelle? The name hit me like a whip. I shook my head, panic rising.
No.
You don't understand. I didn't want. Mom's hand shot out, gripping my chin, forcing me to meet her gaze. Don't lie to me. You liked it. You liked being admired, desired, treated like the girl you've become. Tears burned in my eyes. I'm not your daughter.
I'm not.
Her grip tightened just enough to silence me. Oh, you are. Whether you realize it or not. She let go, and I staggered back against the wall. And, do you know why? I didn't answer. I couldn't. Because boys don't get kissed like that. Boys don't blush when they're called pretty. Boys don't strut around in heels with their heads held high. Tonight, you weren't my son in disguise. You were my daughter. Her voice softened, almost tender. And it suits you. The worst part? A small, traitorous piece of me believed her. But then her tone shifted, and the softness vanished. That boy, she continued, Daniel, isn't just some fling. He could be useful. I froze. Useful? For what? Mom's smile curved into something crueler. To seal the illusion. To make sure everyone sees you as who you're meant to be. A boyfriend makes everything real. Imagine the whispers, the photos, the invitations. No one will question you again. My chest constricted. You can't do this. You can't push me into something like. Her laughter cut through me. Sweetheart, don't you see? I already did. That kiss was the beginning. Now you're going to keep going. You're going to be his girl. And you're going to thank me for giving you the life you never knew you wanted. I ran to my room, locking the door, collapsing against it. My reflection in the mirror glared back at me, mascara smudged, lips still painted, hair cascading down in waves. I lifted a trembling hand to my mouth, replaying the kiss over and over. The scariest part wasn't that Mom was forcing me deeper into this nightmare. It was that I didn't know if I wanted to fight her anymore. Will he resist Mom's push toward Daniel, or will her manipulation and his own hidden desires drag him further into living as her daughter? I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I felt Daniel's lips again, soft but insistent, the way he'd held me like I was delicate, precious, like I was his. And then, in the darkness of my room, I would hear Mom's voice echoing. You're going to be his girl. The words wrapped around me like chains. I thought maybe if I hid away, if I stayed in bed, Mom would forget about last night's madness. But when I finally dragged myself downstairs, the smell of pancakes filled the kitchen. She was humming, Far too cheerful, far too in control. "Good morning, sleepyhead," she said, as if nothing had happened. But her eyes gave her away. Sharp, calculating, knowing. I sat stiffly at the table. She slid a plate toward me, stacked high with golden pancakes. "Eat up. You'll need your energy." "For what?" I asked cautiously. Her smile spread slow and wicked. "For your date, of course." My fork clattered onto the plate. "What?" "Oh, don't look so shocked." She leaned on the counter, her robe slipping just enough to reveal her confidence, her dominance. "Daniel called this morning. He asked if you'd like to go out." I told him yes. My whole body went cold. "You what? You had no right." "No right?" Her tone hardened, slicing through the air. "I am your mother. And right now, I am the only one making sure this little act of yours doesn't crumble. Do you think he kissed you because he thought you were a boy? He kissed you because he believed in Michelle. And Michelle has a date today." I tried to argue, tried to protest, but she shut me down at every word. By mid-morning, she had me standing in front of the mirror again, trembling as she rifled through my growing wardrobe. "You'll wear this." She held up a light pink sundress, delicate straps, and a flowing skirt that brushed just above the knees. Feminine, soft, impossible to hide behind. "I can't," I whispered. "You can," she replied coolly, already pulling it over my head. Her fingers tugged at the zipper, smoothed the fabric against my waist, adjusted the straps until it sat perfectly. Then came the heels, white, strappy, higher than I'd ever dared. "Walk," she commanded. I wobbled, nearly stumbling, but her hands shot out, steadying me. Head up, shoulders back. "You are not Michael in a dress. You are Michelle. Own it." Her voice cracked like a whip, and somehow, against every instinct, I obeyed. By the time she finished with my makeup, soft pink lips, a touch of blush, lashes that curled high and fluttered with every blink, I barely recognized myself. And that was the point. Daniel met me outside. The way his face lit up when he saw me made my heart twist painfully. He looked at me like I was beautiful. "Wow," he breathed, offering his hand. "You look incredible." I froze, staring at his hand. My instinct screamed to pull away, to run, but behind me, Mom stood in the doorway, watching with that infuriating, victorious smile. I took his hand. The world tilted. We sat together at a small cafe, sunlight streaming across the table. Daniel talked easily about classes, about his band, about little things. I nodded, answered softly, trying to keep my voice light and feminine the way Mom had drilled into me. And for a while, I almost forgot the terror. Until the waiter came. "Here you go, miss," he said warmly as he placed a latte in front of me.
Miss.
The word sent shivers through me. I should have hated it. But instead, something inside me melted. Daniel smiled at me across the table, clearly pleased. And I, God help me, smiled back. When he dropped me off, Daniel leaned in close, his breath warm against my cheek. "I'd love to see you again, Michelle." I nodded before I could stop myself. "I'd like that." The moment the door closed behind me, Mom clapped her hands together, triumphant. "Perfect," she said. "Just perfect. My little girl is blossoming." I collapsed onto the sofa, burying my face in my hands, torn between shame and a strange, dangerous thrill. Because the truth was I hadn't hated it. Not the dress. Not the heels. Not even the way Daniel looked at me. And that terrified me more than anything Mom could ever do. Daniel wants another date. But this time, Mom plans something bigger. A shopping trip in public where Michelle will have no place to hide. I woke up the next morning hoping yesterday had been a fever dream. That the sundress, the cafe, Daniel's eyes sparkling across the table. All of it was just some twisted nightmare. But when I rolled over and saw the pink dress draped neatly on my chair, freshly laundered, I knew it had been real. And Mom wasn't done. Not even close. She was waiting in the kitchen, already dressed in a sleek blouse and skirt, hair pinned perfectly. She looked like she was ready to command the world. "Morning, sweetheart," she said brightly, sliding a plate of toast in front of me. I eyed her warily. Morning. She sipped her coffee, watching me over the rim of her mug. Daniel texted me this morning. My heart jumped. You what? How do you? Oh, relax. She waved a hand, almost amused. He messaged me to thank me for raising such a wonderful daughter. He thinks I'm the sweetest mom ever. I froze.
Daughter.
Mom smiled at my expression. You should have seen his message. So polite. So smitten. She leaned forward, voice dropping. Do you see what's happening? You're not pretending anymore. People believe in Michelle. They want her. And now, it's time to give them more to believe in. What are you talking about? I whispered. She set her mug down with a decisive click. We're going shopping. Together. Mother and daughter. My stomach twisted as we drove into town. I clutched my purse. Yes, purse. She'd handed it to me at the door like it was already mine. Nails freshly painted soft pink from the night before. Every bump in the road made me feel closer to disaster. What if someone recognizes me? I muttered. Mom's laugh was sharp, confident. Recognizes who? Michael? Sweetheart, Michael doesn't exist when you're like this. No one would look at you twice. She glanced over, eyes glittering. Besides, isn't this what girls do? Shopping with their moms, picking out cute outfits, trying on heels? You'll fit right in. The moment we stepped inside, I wanted to disappear. The bright lights, the buzz of people, the endless rows of clothing racks, it was too much. Mom, of course, thrived. She strutted forward like she owned the place, heels clicking. Come along, Michelle, she said loudly, making sure anyone within earshot heard. I trailed behind, tugging at the hem of my skirt, praying no one was staring. But they were. A group of teenage girls giggled as we passed. A salesman greeted us warmly with, "Good afternoon, ladies." Every word drilled deeper into me. I wasn't Michael anymore. Not here. Not now. Mom piled clothes into my arms, skirts, blouses, delicate lace tops, even lingerie I dared not look at too closely. Try them all, she said firmly, pushing me into a dressing room. I stood trembling before the mirror, dress after dress clinging to my body in ways I didn't want to admit looked good. My heart pounded each time I stepped out to show her. Oh, that's darling. Spin for me. Look at that waistline, so flattering. The humiliation burned, but beneath it, something else stirred. A dark thrill. When I tried on a soft lavender dress, Mom gasped. That's the one. I stared at my reflection. The smooth fabric hugging me, the way the skirt flowed when I moved, the way the color made my skin glow. For one terrifying second, I didn't see Michael at all. I saw Michelle, and she looked beautiful. As I stepped out in the lavender dress, admiring it in spite of myself, a voice called from across the store. Michelle? I froze. Daniel was standing there, holding a shopping bag, eyes wide and amazed. Panic surged through me, but before I could run, Mom placed a firm hand on my shoulder, holding me in place. Well, look who it is, she said smoothly. What a coincidence. Daniel's gaze swept over me, and his smile spread slow, genuine.
Wow.
You look even prettier today. My knees nearly buckled. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. Do you mind if I? Before I could respond, before I could protest, Daniel leaned down and kissed me, right there in the middle of the store, under the harsh fluorescent lights, with strangers walking by. And no one questioned it. No one looked shocked. To them, we were just a boy and his girlfriend. Except I wasn't the boy. I was the girl. That night, after Daniel left with a promise to call me, I collapsed on my bed, dress still clinging to me, lipstick smudged from his kiss. I stared at the ceiling, heart hammering, shame and desire tearing me apart. And Mom's voice echoed again, smug and satisfied. My little girl is falling perfectly into place. Daniel invites Michelle to a party with his friends, and Mom insists she is to go, even if it means stepping deeper into her new identity than ever before. I thought maybe Daniel would forget. Maybe he'd get busy with classes or his band and the whole thing would fade away like a dream dissolving in daylight. But the text came that afternoon. Hey Michelle, my friend's throwing a party Friday night. Come with me? I stared at the screen, my pulse racing. My thumb hovered, ready to type an excuse, a refusal, anything. But before I could, Mom's voice floated from behind me. Who's texting my little girl? I jumped, clutching the phone. No one. She plucked it from my hands with maddening ease. Her eyes scanned the message, and her lips curved into that knowing smile. Well, isn't that sweet, she said. Daniel wants to show you off. No, I said quickly. Absolutely not. I can't go to a party like this. What if someone recognizes me? What if they laugh? What if they find out? Shoo. Her finger pressed against my lips, silencing me. Listen to yourself. Do you hear how afraid you sound? That fear is exactly why you need to go. I won't, I whispered. Her eyes hardened. Yes, you will. Because if you don't, he'll start asking questions. He'll wonder why Michelle suddenly vanished. And then everything we've built will come crashing down. Do you want that? Tears burned my eyes. No. Good, she said simply, handing the phone back. Then tell him yes. My fingers trembled as I typed the word. Yes. Friday came too fast. Mom treated the whole day like a sacred ritual. She started with a bubble bath, pouring in rose-scented oils until the room smelled like a garden. Relax, sweetheart, she crooned, scrubbing my shoulders, humming softly. Girls take care of themselves before big nights. When I stepped out, wrapped in a towel, she already had the outfit laid out on the bed, a silky, pale blue dress with thin straps and a skirt that swirled around the thighs. High silver heels. A glittery clutch. I stared at it, heart thudding. That's too much. It's perfect, she said firmly. The makeup took nearly an hour. Foundation smoothed to flawlessness, eyeliner winged sharp enough to kill, lips painted a soft coral that made my eyes glow. She styled my hair into loose waves that brushed my shoulders. By the time she was done, I barely recognized myself. You're stunning, she whispered, pride flickering in her voice. No one will doubt you. Daniel arrived right on time, dressed in a crisp button-up shirt that made him look older, more confident.
His jaw dropped when he saw me.
Michelle, he breathed. You're wow. Heat flushed my face. Mom, standing behind me, smirked. Isn't she? Now take good care of my daughter tonight. Her emphasis on daughter made my stomach twist. Daniel offered his arm, and I hesitated only a moment before slipping my hand into it. His touch was warm, steady, comforting almost. The house pulsed with music and laughter. Lights flickered, people crowded every corner, drinks flowed freely. My chest tightened as dozens of eyes turned toward us. Daniel leaned close, whispering, "Don't worry. You look amazing. Just stick with me." I nodded, clinging to his presence like a lifeline. But then the question started. Who's your girlfriend, Daniel? She's gorgeous. What's her name? Michelle, he answered easily, every time, his hand brushing my waist possessively. And no one questioned it. Not one person looked at me suspiciously. They accepted me as a girl. The realization hit like a tidal wave. Later, when the music slowed, Daniel pulled me onto the dance floor. My heels wobbled at first, but his arm around my waist steadied me. You're shaking, he murmured. I'm not used to this, I admitted. Don't worry. His smile was soft, genuine. You're doing great. You're beautiful. The words sank into me, terrifying and sweet. Beautiful. For the first time, I didn't flinch when I heard it. As the song ended, Daniel leaned in, and before I could stop him, his lips met mine again, deeper, longer this time. And in that moment, surrounded by strangers, I didn't feel like a boy trapped in a joke. I felt like Michelle. When we got home, Mom was waiting. She didn't ask how the party went. She didn't need to. One look at my flushed cheeks, at the way I still held my clutch like a girl, told her everything. Well, she said with a satisfied smile. My little girl survived her first party. I wanted to scream, to cry, to deny everything. But the truth lodged in my throat like a secret I couldn't swallow. Because she was right. I had survived. And part of me had loved it. Mom reveals she has an even bigger plan, entering Michelle in a beauty pageant, the ultimate public test of her daughter's new identity. I thought the party was the end of it, that Mom would finally feel satisfied, that she'd prove her point and let me slip back into my old life. But Mom never stopped at enough. For her, enough was just the beginning. It was Sunday morning. I shuffled into the kitchen, hair messy, still clinging to fragments of the nightmare I'd had, a dream where the mirror showed only Michelle and Michael had vanished completely. Mom was waiting with the newspaper folded neatly in front of her, sipping tea like a queen. "Good morning, sweetheart," she said casually. I grunted, reaching for the cereal. She slid a colorful flyer across the table. "Look at this." My sleepy eyes scanned the words, and my blood ran cold. "Annual Spring Beauty Pageant. Applications open now." I pushed it back instantly.
No.
Her smile widened. "Yes, Mom. No arguments." She tapped the flyer with her manicured nail. "This is perfect. A public stage, lights, cameras, people. Everyone will see you as Michelle. And once you win." "Win?" My voice cracked. "Of course you'll win." She tilted her head, studying me like an artist eyeing a masterpiece. "You've got the looks, the poise. You just need polish. And I'm going to give it to you." I shook my head violently. "I'm not doing this. I'm not walking on a stage in front of strangers dressed as a girl," she interrupted smoothly. "Because that's what you are now." Tears burned my eyes. "I'm not. I'm still me. I'm Michael." She leaned back in her chair, eyes sharp and cold. "Then maybe I should tell Daniel the truth. Should I call him now? Imagine his face when he finds out his sweet Michelle is just her mommy's little boy in disguise." The threat cut through me like a knife. My hands trembled. "You wouldn't." Her smile was merciless. "I would. Unless you do this. Unless you prove you can be Michelle completely. One night, one stage. That's all I'm asking." My voice was barely a whisper. "And if I don't," her smile faded into steel, "then you'll lose Daniel, and everyone else will know what a fraud you are. Is that what you want?" The week that followed was torture. Every evening, Mom drilled me like a coach preparing an athlete. "Walk with confidence. Smile softer, not too wide. Speak like a lady. Gentler, higher." She made me practice balancing books on my head, twirling in heels until my ankles screamed, answering mock interview questions with poise. I wanted to hate her. I wanted to resist. But some nights, when I collapsed into bed, exhausted and trembling, I caught myself in the mirror, posture straighter, smile softer, steps lighter, and I couldn't deny the truth. I was changing. A few days before the pageant, Mom brought home a long garment bag. She hung it on the closet door with a flourish. "Your gown," she announced. My stomach flipped. "No."
Oh, yes. Try it.
With shaking hands, I unzipped the bag. The gown shimmered under the light, deep sapphire blue, sequins cascading like water, the skirt flowing to the floor. It was beautiful. Too beautiful. When I slipped into it, the fabric hugged my body in ways I couldn't explain. Mom zipped me up, then spun me toward the mirror. I gasped.
I didn't see a boy in a dress.
I saw a girl. A stunning girl. Michelle. Mom's hands rested on my shoulders, her smile soft but triumphant. "There she is," she whispered. "My daughter." That night, I locked the door and stared at my reflection until tears blurred my vision. "Who am I?" I whispered. The gown sparkled. The makeup still clung to my face, and I didn't have an answer. For the first time, I wasn't sure if Michael was even real anymore. The night of the pageant arrives. Michelle must step onto the stage, face the crowd, and decide if she'll fight or surrender to the role her mother forced on her. The night of the pageant arrived like a storm I couldn't stop. I sat in front of the mirror, hands shaking as Mom's brush traced the final stroke of lipstick across my trembling lips. "Perfect," she murmured. I wasn't perfect. I was terrified. The venue buzzed with nervous energy, girls in glittering gowns pacing the backstage hall, mothers fussing over makeup, assistants fixing hair with clouds of hairspray.
And me.
Hidden in plain sight, a boy wrapped in satin and sequins, about to walk into a spotlight that could shatter me. Mom squeezed my shoulders. Just breathe. Remember your training. I nodded weakly, staring at my reflection. The gown fit like a dream. My curls shone under the lights. My painted face looked flawless. To everyone else, I was Michelle. Inside, I was Michael screaming to be let out. Contestant number 7, Michelle Andrews. The announcer's voice boomed through the speakers. My legs nearly gave out. Mom nudged me forward. Go. I stepped into the blinding light. The stage stretched endlessly before me, the crowd a sea of shadowed faces. Cameras flashed. Applause erupted. I forced a smile, hips swaying as Mom had taught me, gown flowing behind like liquid stars. But every step felt like betrayal. Every cheer felt like chains tightening. When my turn came for the interview, my throat closed. The judge smiled. Michelle, what's one thing you've learned about yourself in preparing for this pageant? The world tilted. My mind screamed, I'm not Michelle. I'm not this. I don't belong here. But the words that slipped from my painted lips shocked me. I've learned that sometimes we're stronger than we think, I said softly. That even when life pushes us in directions we don't expect, we can still find grace. The audience sighed. Applause thundered. I stood frozen, because it wasn't an act anymore. Those words had come from me. My talent was a simple piano piece, one Mom insisted would show refinement. As my fingers touched the keys, a strange calm swept over me. Music poured out, delicate and aching, each note carrying my fear, my anger, my secret. When the final chord faded, silence lingered. Then the crowd erupted. I bowed, dazed, part of me almost proud and part of me horrified that I was proud. The final moment came. The contestants lined up, gowns glittering under the spotlights. My heart pounded so hard I thought it might burst. And this year's winner, the announcer dragged it out, the crowd buzzing. Michelle Andrews. Time stopped. The crown lowered onto my styled hair. The sash draped across my sequined gown. Applause roared like thunder. Mom's eyes glistened in the front row, pride shining brighter than the crown itself. And me? I smiled for the cameras. I waved to the crowd. I let them see Michelle, radiant and victorious. But inside, Michael's voice was fading, a faint echo I could barely hear anymore. Underscore 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 underscore. After the pageant victory, Michelle becomes a local name, pictures, articles, praise everywhere. But the attention traps Michael deeper than ever. Will he find a way back, or is the crown the final nail in his coffin? The pageant ended, but its shadow didn't. If I thought walking off that stage would free me, I was wrong. It only tightened the chains. I woke up the next morning to Mom bustling in the kitchen, phone glued to her ear. Yes, that's my daughter, Michelle. Yes, she won. Oh, thank you, thank you. Her voice carried pride, but also possession. I could tell she wasn't just bragging.
She was owning me.
When I entered the room, hair still curled from the night before, she turned and beamed. Sweetheart, you're on the front page. My stomach flipped as she shoved a newspaper into my hands. There I was, smiling in my glittering gown, the crown perched on my styled curls. The headline screamed, "Local girl wins pageant crown."
Girl.
The word burned my eyes. That week was a blur of unwanted attention. Neighbors congratulated Mom at the grocery store. Old classmates shared the article online. Even strangers stopped me in town. You are stunning up there. Such a beautiful young lady. I can't believe someone like you lives here. Each compliment pierced me deeper. They didn't see Michael. They couldn't. The boy I had been was vanishing in the reflection of a painted smile and satin dresses. The pictures spread like wildfire. Mom made a page for Michelle Andrews, posting daily updates, makeup tutorials, pageant clips, smiling photos of me in dresses I didn't even know we owned. Thousands of followers piled in overnight. Comments poured in. Gorgeous. Queen. Perfection. I scrolled endlessly, half horrified, half addicted, because part of me liked being adored. And that scared me most of all. I tried, once, to reach for my old self. I dug out a hoodie and jeans late at night, slipping them on just to feel the fabric against my skin. But when I caught sight of myself in the mirror, long lashes, glossy lips, curls tumbling around my face, the clothes looked wrong. The boy in them looked like a disguise. That was the night I cried myself to sleep, whispering my own name like a prayer. Michael, Michael, don't leave me. But the prayer went unanswered. One evening, I confronted Mom, desperation bubbling over. Please, I begged, voice cracking. I don't want this anymore. I don't want to be her. Mom's expression softened, but her words froze my blood. Oh, honey, she whispered, stroking my cheek. Michelle isn't just a joke anymore.
She's who you are now.
And people love her. Don't you see? There's no going back. Her tone was tender, almost loving, but behind it was iron. A finality that crushed me. I realized then, Mom hadn't just dressed me up for fun. She'd been planning this, shaping me, turning her little joke into her reality. Into my reality. That night, I stared at my reflection again. The crown rested on my vanity, mocking me. For the first time, I didn't just see Michael trapped in a girl's face. I saw Michelle, and she was smiling back. Fame continues to grow, and Michelle is invited to a regional pageant. But in the crowd, someone from Michael's past recognizes him, and the fragile illusion threatens to shatter. Just as Mom predicted, the small-town crown was only the beginning. An official letter arrived on thick, cream-colored paper, sealed with gold embossing. Michelle Andrews is formally invited to compete in the regional Miss Blossom pageant. I froze when I read it. Regional. Bigger stage. Bigger audience. 1,000 more eyes staring at me, measuring me, admiring me. Mom squealed with delight, hugging me so tightly I couldn't breathe. Oh, baby girl, this is destiny. Destiny. The word felt like a curse. The weeks leading up to the pageant were a storm. Dresses arriving daily, seamstresses measuring my body, stylists curling and painting me for practice runs. I should have resisted. I should have screamed, fought, run. But every time I looked in the mirror, that resistance cracked. Michelle's figure filled out in the gowns perfectly. The stylists cooed over my natural femininity. Even I caught myself staring too long, wondering how much of Michael remained beneath the gloss and satin. The venue was enormous compared to the first. A grand hall with chandeliers glittering like frozen stars. Contestants milled around, each beautiful in her own way. I felt their eyes linger on me. Some curious, some jealous, some admiring. Mom stayed glued to my side, whispering encouragement, adjusting my dress, fixing stray hairs. To everyone else, she was the proud pageant mother. To me, she was the puppeteer, tightening strings. The pageant began. I walked the stage again, high heels clicking, gown flowing like liquid light. The applause thundered, but then, halfway down the runway, my eyes locked onto a face in the audience.
No.
It couldn't be. Sitting in the third row, jaw slack, was Ethan, my childhood best friend. The boy I used to play video games with after school. The one who knew Michael better than anyone. And now he was staring at Michelle, at me. My chest tightened. I faltered mid-step, nearly tripping. The audience gasped, but I forced a smile, plastered it on, kept moving. But Ethan's eyes never left me.
He knew.
I could see it in the way his brows furrowed, the way his lips parted as if to whisper my name. Michael. I wanted to run off stage, rip off the wig, scrub off the paint, scream that this wasn't real. But it was too late. The lights burned too bright, the audience cheered too loud, the illusion too strong. Backstage, my heart pounded like a trapped animal. I peeked through the curtain. Ethan was still there, waiting. Mom noticed my panic. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" I stammered. "That boy, he knows me." Her smile never faltered. "Then he knows Michelle." "No. He knows Michael." Mom's eyes hardened. "Then you'd better make him forget." I tried to escape through a side door, but Ethan caught me in the hallway. "Michael?" His voice was hoarse, disbelieving. I froze. My heels clicked nervously on the marble floor. "It's me," he said, stepping closer. "It's really you, isn't it?" The world tilted. Every mask, every lie, every forced smile came crashing down in that one moment. Do I deny it and cling to Michelle, or admit the truth and risk shattering everything Mom had built? My lips trembled, painted red, trembling between two names, Michael or Michelle. And before I could decide, Ethan whispered the words that shattered me. "You're beautiful."